Welcome back to Sports Cards and a Cup of Joe. This is your host, Joe Davis, and I hope all of you are having a great week. I know that I am, and I'm excited to share this fun episode with you that I'm calling Trash into Cash. Trash into Cash. And what I mean by that is turning dead inventory into sales, because that's what I'm currently doing at our shop. I spent most of my day, as I record this, going through some boxes I probably haven't looked at in several years, at least 2 or 3 probably. But I uncovered a lot of stuff in inventory that was basically forgotten inventory, and I am focused, razor focused or laser focused. Anyway, I'm really focused. How's that? On getting a lot of these items onto our eBay store where they can be sold. And the point of this episode is to help each of you think about what you own. Maybe you're a collector and you don't ever resell, and that's okay. Hopefully you'll have fun hearing some of the stuff we've been going through. Maybe you're a part-time seller / dealer, as it seems like most people in our industry are now. And you're wanting to hear ways that you can turn some of your dead inventory into, quote, live inventory that's actually producing sales for you. So lately, our team, I'm going to share what we've been doing. We're kind of at a point right now where, because of the backlog at PSA and the backlog at BGS and just pretty much every grading company's behind right now, they're taking longer than we want them to. I know I hear from all of you, or most of you, at some point each month about why are they taking so long, etc. And we're in the same boat. We have thousands and thousands of cards sitting at grading companies that we are eager to get back. And most of them belong to consigners who want us to get those cards sold. And we are kind of in this black hole area right now. While we have sent off a lot, we've sent off a ton, thousands of cards in the last 6 weeks. But we kind of had a period before there where we weren't sending a lot of large quantities for consigners. So right now, because the turnaround is so slow, we're not getting back large quantities of items to sell on eBay as far as graded cards. Yes, we're getting some every week, but not the kind of quantities that we will be seeing come late October, early to late November, and so forth, because we have thousands out there. So what our eBay team is doing is going through inventory that either is not selling in the shop or maybe has never even seen the light of day in the shop, but going through boxes, going through multiple rooms, actually multiple floors at our store, looking for inventory that we can put out on eBay. Sometimes it's individual cards. Sometimes it's lots of cards. And I'm just going to give you an idea of some things we have dug out. And maybe it'll spark something in you to want to start digging through your collection for things that you're no longer attached to. Or maybe it's those boxes piled up in the corner that you need to look through or try to find a way to sell them. Because literally in the last few days, I went through many different rooms in our store where inventory is stored. And I was like, okay, this can go. This can go. Just in the last few days, I've pulled out multiple cases of old 1980s era rack packs from Topps. We're listing cases of 86, 87, and I believe 88. There were some rack pack cases of 1988 Donruss. There's a large amount of vending boxes, which we haven't gotten to. I pulled out some graded comic books that I bought for whatever reason at some time. It wasn't even really books I was that attached to, or I took them in trade in a collection. And we normally never list those kind of items on eBay, but there's like a Conan #1 issue in a CGC 8. I'm like, that's an expensive book, and there's some other expensive ones, so those are going to be hitting our eBay store. Today, I literally spent hours going through boxes that I bought 5 years ago and have not touched since then. And for those of you who love the NBA, you will appreciate this, I think, because back during the pandemic, there was this huge run-up in demand for Panini NBA stickers. I remember at the peak, I sold a LeBron James, Kobe Bryant dual sticker. It was a single sticker with the two of them pictured on it together. I believe it was from 2012. And it was graded a PSA 10, and at the time it was the only PSA 10. And we sold it for, if I remember correctly, this was, again, the pandemic boom. I believe we sold it for $1,000. I know, it's crazy. It's probably $100 now in a PSA 10, but I'm sure many more have been graded over the last 5 years. But anyway, my point is, during this run-up of demand for Panini basketball stickers, I went a little crazy. I found a source in Europe that had large quantities of loose packs of NBA stickers over the last decade, all the way back to, if I remember, 2009, which is Curry's rookie year. But I really bought large quantities of 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, all the way up through 2018. Boxes, loose packs, you name it. And literally today I cut open this huge shipment from, I don't even remember what country, somewhere in Europe. And it was shipped to us 5 years ago, and I'd never even opened it. It got sit on the sticker shelf. I have a whole shelf filled with old boxes and packs of Panini stickers. And so probably intermittently over the last 5 years, I had listed some of them. And finally, after looking, I was like, I spent thousands of dollars on these 5 years ago. It might be time to get some money back. Now, whether I'll get back what I put into them is doubtful, but you never know. I did notice that certain rookie stickers out of some of those are still bringing really good money. But I was like, we've got a lot of these. There's literally certain years where I have thousands of packs. And the products, they're not listed anywhere. I don't think we have them out in the retail store either. Need to do that too. But I'm calling this episode Trash into Cash. Now, those are not trash. They're desirable products. Maybe not as desirable as they were 5 years ago, or definitely not, I should say. But there is demand for those. There's plenty of NBA collectors who love NBA Panini stickers. But when I use the phrase trash into cash, what I mean by that is finding ways to move inventory that is not super liquid. Now, when I've had stacks of LeBron James rookies over the years, and I've had hundreds of James rookies at a time graded, I had no trouble getting them sold. You write them up in 30 seconds, boom, list them, and they're sold. They sell really well, even in lower grades. So when I say turning trash into cash, I'm not talking about a pile of slabs sitting on your desk. I'm talking about inventory that's a little bit harder, requires a little more work. Unopened boxes, those are pretty simple to liquidate also. There's always demand for most unopened boxes of product. These stickers are mainly all loose packs. Requires a little more work. So I started the day creating pack lots of all of these different years of stickers and giving giving them to one of our guys to scan them and shoot pictures of them. And we're going to be running 10 count lots and 50 count lots of all these different years. And then I kind of got in the zone. I'm like, well, we're doing pack lots on these. Let's see what else we got. So I dug through boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of old pack lots I had purchased over the years. I found a 5,000 count box filled with 1993 Duracell baseball packs. Now, the disappointing part was that sounded kind of fun, right? Hey, these are 32-year-old packs, unopened. And I noticed when we went to shoot a picture of the 10 count lot, they all had Andy Van Slyke on the back. And I thought, well, that's really odd. And then I noticed they're not actually unopened packs, they're unopened sets, because it said set, I think, 2 of 6 or 6 of 10 or whatever it was. There's a whole lot of them, and they're all the same. So I opened a couple of them, and sure enough, if I remember the big 4 cards, Andy Van Slyke, Ruben Sierra, Deion Sanders, George Brett. So, hey, Brett's a Hall of Famer. Deion's really popular. Maybe I'll sell a few pack lots. And whoever wins them will get 10 of each. But I found another box filled with, if I remember, 1998 Holiday Inn Upper Deck packs. I have no clue what's in them, but I have about 300 of them. I found another box, a case of 97, 98 Upper Deck hockey retail packs, 22 card retail packs. It's really an oddity. That's a really big pack for Upper Deck to put in hockey, but this is 1997. And so we are creating countless lots of old packs. Some far more desirable than others. I found UCLA collegiate packs and LSU collegiate packs, and the quantities we had on some of this stuff was just astounding. 1982 baseball stickers and Domino's pizza, if anybody remembers these. 1991 Upper Deck Domino's pizza NFL quarterbacks. I cannot tell you how many pizzas I bought from Domino's that year, because you would get a pizza and you would get, I think it was only 1 pack of the cards. Well, they got closed out to someone somewhere, because all the packs we have now, they didn't come from pizzas I bought. As many as I bought, they didn't all come with a pizza. So we're going to be listing pack lots on those. So again, this is dead inventory. I don't have shoppers walking in daily asking for 91 Upper Deck football quarterback packs from Domino's. But there's someone out there who will buy those. At least I hope so. But we have been listing all kinds of unique items, some that we've had literally for decades, and we've never taken the time to list them. And I was running some numbers in my head, and this is a good example to some of you, especially if others of you out there sell items on consignment, and then you also sell your own items. As I was running some numbers, and I thought to myself, okay, say you run a consignment house, and your net profit is, say, 10% after you pay fees for whatever platform you're selling on. Say your net profit's 10%. So say you sell 10 items at an average of $100 a piece. It's pretty good. You make your 10% commission, you've earned $100. So you did $1,000 in gross sales on someone else's inventory. So you tied up no money in it, which is great. And you made $100 after handling $1,000 in sales. Now compare that to a stack of $10 cards that you own. You sell 10 of those, you generate $100 in gross sales, and you have generated $100 in sales for yourself. Minus any applicable fees, of course, depending on what platform you're selling on. But my point is, if you're operating on 10% profit on your commission for consignment sales, you have to do $100 in sales to generate the same amount of income as a $10 sale for something you have sitting over there in the corner. It just might be a little harder. It's really easy for someone to hand me a $100 card that's in a slab even if we have to scan it. Usually you can just pull the images straight from PSA or SGC. But say you have to scan that card, write it up, ship it. That's not that complicated. Now, in the volume we deal in, it gets a lot trickier when you're dealing with hundreds of consigners and sometimes thousands of cards. But my point is, that's a pretty simple process. It's a little more timely to fan out 10 packs and write up this odd lot. 1991 Upper Deck Domino's Pizza NFL quarterbacks pack lot. Now, the nice thing is, if you have 1,000 of those packs, you write up the lot one time and you click relist over and over, or you just create a quantity listing on eBay and say how many you have. But my point is, I'm trying to help each of you think outside the box. We can all sit there and list our graded cards pretty easily, and they're liquid. There's always demand for them, and you can create sales. Or you can take on a consignment and you can create sales for someone else and earn your commission. It's a lot harder to do the nitty-gritty work of going through box after box. Maybe you're putting pack lots together. Maybe you're putting singles lots together. I found a box today with 50 Madison Bumgarner rookies. And you're like, well, who's going to buy that? You may forget, if I remember correctly, he won 3 World Series with the Giants, and I think he was MVP. Someone's going to buy those. Somewhere at the store, I have 1,000 count lot of 1991 Upper Deck Ricky Hendersons. And I've always wanted to list it as wallpaper, Ricky Henderson wallpaper, because you could literally wallpaper an entire wall with this box of cards. I've got to find it. I know I've seen the box, and I've probably passed through it 10 times in the last 10 years saying, I need to list that. I need to list that. Because now I'm in that zone. We're going to be listing stuff like that. But you can list, if you've got a box in the corner and it's filled with commons from the last 20 years, and you're like, that's worthless. I can't do anything with that. You know what you can do if you're really wanting to generate some money out of that box? You can create team lots, and you can say 100 Dodger cards from the last 30 years, 100 Atlanta Braves, whatever. My point is, you've got to be creative sometimes. Now, I have an entire warehouse of things I need to get creative with. Today I found a box filled with hundreds of 2018 Donruss soccer cards, all graded by GMA. I don't even deal in GMA cards, but somehow I ended up with a ton of these in a collection. So someone will be, hopefully, buying some GMA graded Donruss soccer cards from us soon. We just listed, by the time you hear this, you'll see these. We just listed a huge collection, one at a time, of vintage autographed postcards of players who played between like the 1920s and the 1960s. All very unique. Our retail manager, Jeff Spiegel, did a lot of work on these. He put labels on the sleeve. identifying each player, identifying when they played, highlights from their career, etc. But we've sold very few in the retail store. So I'm like, let's try a larger audience. As many customers as we have come in, as many shoppers as we have come in, let's try a larger audience. So we're listing those autographed Hall of Fame postcards on eBay. We'll see what happens because it's relatively dead inventory for us. And if you're a shop owner listening, if you've been in the game for a while like me, then you've got a back room filled with this kind of stuff. And I literally about tripped over these. One room I was going through today, there was about 15 autographed baseball bats. Frank Thomas, Ryan Klesko, many others. They're already certified, but they haven't sold. They're taking up space. Soon they'll be listed on eBay. Most of you, if you're a long-time collector or you're a long-time dealer, whatever, you have this kind of inventory. I literally went through my own personal collection of slabs in the last week. And there were cards I'd forgotten I owned. And many that I remembered owning. But I was like, this card doesn't really give me the thrill it used to. It was exciting when I bought it, but I'm not really attached to that player anymore or that set. And I don't mind letting this go. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm happy to downsize my collection some because there's just some things I'm not attached to anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty. I didn't let go of much, but there was a few cards where I'm like, this is a cool card. Someone else will get more joy out of this than I will. Probably time to sell this. So I thinned down, maybe 5%. So I'm bragging more like I did a lot. It was not exactly a spring cleaning. It was literally just thinning down a little bit here and there where I'm like, oh, I have 2 of these. I can let one of these go. But all of you, we can all get in the zone of just slab happy. We buy some cards, or I should say, we grade some cards, we sell some cards, we move on. We get some more cards graded, we sell them. Rinse and repeat over and over. It's a lot more complicated to sell a hand collated set from 1978 where you describe all the key cards and you do a scan with all of them and show their condition. And we just did some of that. I have stacks of starter sets from the 70s. There's certain years from the 70s where we probably have 20 of every common in stock and a handful of the minor stars and stars that we just need to build into starter sets or complete sets. We don't need 20 of every card in stock. And I'm sharing what we're going through to help you think what you can do with your collection. Maybe it's time you thin down your collection a little bit. We'll be happy to help you if you'd like to consign with us. Ha. But no, seriously, maybe it's time to thin down your collection some. Maybe it's time to clean out the closet, literally. You may have boxes of stuff you've forgotten about. I was going through some today, and I was like, I think I remember buying this stuff. And I opened it up, and it had several jersey cards, autograph cards, rookie cards, and I'm like, okay, no, I don't really remember this. Here's some really good inventory I can put out. So when you've bought stuff, and I do mean a lot of stuff, over the last nearly 40 years, you accumulate a lot of things, and then you look back and go, why, Joe? Why did you buy that? And sometimes you go, Joe, you did really good buying that. So today was definitely a mixed bag of some of the things I found, and I'm sure it will be for you as well. So here's my encouragement to you. Need some extra cash? Pull out some of that old inventory. The challenge is you got to put some blood, sweat, and tears into getting those sales done. It's not that easy. You got to actually shoot some pictures. You got to actually do some thorough write-ups. You got to actually ship some stuff that's harder to ship than a slab. You may have to spend some time packing things carefully and so forth. But there are so many opportunities, and I share this episode now because the hobby and the industry is in such a good place right now. And what I mean by that, there is a lot of demand for a lot of stuff. We're selling some cards online, some that we've had on there for 6, 7, 8 years sitting there, and now all of a sudden they're selling. And I'm not talking about players that are hot. It's just autographs or random jersey cards or random rookie cards. And I'm like, wow, the industry is on fire when this person's selling that no one has cared to buy for the last 8 years, and now suddenly his cards are selling. So you might be sitting on some of that kind of inventory. Hear me. Take advantage of this time in the industry to unload some stuff that you are happy to get rid of. Sell it while the demand is there, especially if you're not attached to it. There is great opportunity to turn dead inventory into sales. We are in that kind of season in the industry. So I encourage you, spend some time if you're sitting on stuff like this. If you need help and you've got the pile of slabs and you don't even want to do the work on those we'll be happy to help you with. Sorry, I don't need you to ship me any more common boxes. I have a few thousand of those myself. But my goal is to help each of you think outside the box. Turn some dead inventory into cash in your hands. So I could go on and on for the kind of stuff we've been finding. The more we dig, the more we go, oh yeah, I forgot about that 8x10. I forgot about that autograph. I found a huge stack of 1975 and 1976 Hostess panels off of snack boxes. And no, they weren't from my childhood, because as a kid when I bought those, I cut every card out. I wasn't smart enough to save them in full panels. But if you like old 75 Hostess panels, well, we're about to be listing a lot of those too. So we might rename our eBay name to the Got Baseball Cards Flea Market, because that may be what it looks like for a little while, because we're going to be listing, as I told one of my guys, we're going to follow the kitchen sink approach, meaning if it's not tied down to the wall and we're not attached to it, then why isn't it listed? We literally need a lot of space at our store. We have a lot of offices that are cluttered. It's time to get rid of some inventory to create some space so we can function, and might as well sell it while you're creating the space, right? So hope this has made some of you think about what you can do with some of your excess inventory. Hopefully you at least got a laugh hearing about my Duracell packs and my old, UCLA packs and Hostess panels and other fun stuff like that. So I'm telling you, over the next month, you need to go on Got Baseball Cards eBay channel. Sort by newest listed. You will probably get a laugh at some of the stuff we have uncovered and will continue to uncover as we dig through our warehouse. There is so much stuff we have bought over the years. You're going to see some huge lots of cards. Maybe you want to wallpaper your walls with all the cards of one player. We can help you do that with some of the stuff we're going to be listing. So we're going to have fun with it. Hope you've had fun with this episode. Remember today that Jesus loves you. Remember that I think you are awesome too, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Catch you next time. Thanks so much.